last part goes into the last Spitfire. If the missus doesn't fancy a fighter plane in the empty garage, tell her to sit tight, for here they come. Britain's post-war cars, exclusively photographed by Pathé cameramen. I could do with one of those to brighten up the paint on my front door. By the way, you can have any color you like for the car, so long as it's black. Before the war, this plant could turn out a car a minute, that's 60 an hour. In a day, let's say 600. In a week, well, you work it out. A sight for war-weary eyes. Cars, cars, and more cars.
In 1945, with the dawn of peace, comes a new car, a baby Renault from the newly nationalized French factory. Its squat appearance is greeted with sarcastic humor, but it needs a minimum of steel to build and little petrol to run. Cars are scarce and orders are overwhelming, but it will be 3 years before the baby Renault can be mass-produced. Near Frankfurt lie the remains of the works that made the Opel Kadett. It's a conventional, cheap, small car, and although it first appeared in 1936, it still looks modern with its American-style, all-enveloping body and built-in headlamps. The 4-cylinder side valve engine is cheap to make and to run. Unfortunately for Germany, the Russians take a particular interest in the car. Machine tools disappear, and the Kadett will not be seen again until it reappears as the Moskvich. A more unconventional German car gets less envious attention in an official British report.
It is not to be regarded as an example of first-class modern design to be copied by the British industry. The question of whether the public would or would not like a car with an air-cooled engine positioned at the rear does not appear to have been considered by the designer.
Nevertheless, it is the British Army that gets Volkswagen going again in 1946. French roads have suffered in the war, and when the front-wheel drive Citroën comes back, its outstanding suspension gives it the edge over competitors. The Citroën is one of the pre-war designs that will do much to put Europe back on wheels. In America, during the early 40s, cars got bigger and better. Chevrolet, the world's bestseller, was the cheapest car in the General Motors range, and it could be bought as a luxurious convertible. American cars of the 40s become symbols of unattainable luxury for the rest of the world. At the British Motor Show in 1948, the public gets its first chance for 10 years to look at new cars. It's almost impossible for the British to buy any of their own cars, as nearly all are for export only. Britain is becoming the biggest car exporter in the world and will soon be selling 3 times as many cars as America in overseas markets. At the French show, there is a car for the time. The baby Citroën is economical and tough. In post-war Britain, only doctors and a few other lucky people are allowed to buy new cars. Many are still pre-war designs, like the Morris 8, with old-fashioned leaf springs and side-valve 4-cylinder engine. The standard Flying 14, like all British cars, has just about trebled in price since 1939. In 1948, it gives way to the new standard Vanguard. Like American cars, the Vanguard has an all-enveloping body, steering column gear shift, and a specially designed large radio. As exports get priority, Vanguards will be scarce in England for several years to come. The cheapest British car is the Ford Anglia. Its elderly design remains almost unchanged, but an old Ford competitor, Jowett, is breaking away with a completely new style saloon, the Javelin. The Ford keeps to leaf springs and side valves, but the Javelin has independent torsion bar suspension. There's a modern interior layout, and a new radiator grille covers the high-performance unconventional flat-4 engine, a type Jowett pioneered in 1935. The Healey is a glamorous newcomer. It is one of a growing range of fast cars which will bring international prestige to the British motor industry. Jaguar will bring the greatest prestige. The Mark V, an intermediate design to replace the pre-war models, basically has the same engine that Standard supplied before the war. Now Jaguar have an engine of their own. A limited number of sports cars are being built as an experiment to try out the XK120 engine. It has 6 cylinders with twin overhead camshafts and will bring Jaguar a string of racing and competition successes. Meanwhile, in southern Germany, production starts up again with the low-powered but economical pre-war 170V Mercedes. The diesel version, which appears in 1949, will become one of the world's most popular taxis. More luxurious cars are developed as German exports bring in dollars. The 220 Mercedes has a new overhead valve 6-cylinder engine. The interior is reminiscent of the expensive Mercedes of the past. To produce this range of cars is astonishing. For only 6 years earlier, the board of directors reported that their company no longer exists. There is another dramatic German recovery by Opel, once again under the control of General Motors. Production rises rapidly. Their cars get larger and more comfortable, with American influence clearly visible. They have a wicked dollar grin as Opel surpasses its pre-war production records and works its way back into the world markets. In Britain, petrol rationing continues until 1950, and a shortage of raw materials limits production. The old Morris side valve engine is in the first of the brilliant new Morris Minors. A merger with Austin in 1952 will give it an overhead valve engine and make it one of the great cars of its time. A more traditional British car is the Daimler. When a fortunate gentleman changes his 1950 model for a 1953 Conquest, the fluted Daimler radiator is proudly retained.
Good morning.
The bodywork has made some concessions to the all-enveloping American style, but with commendable British restraint. Ferry Porsche, the son of the Volkswagen designer, has used his father's design as a basis for a high-performance sports car. In getting the weight down to a minimum, he has left little room for luggage or luxury. The high-performance air-cooled engine isn't quiet. You have to use the gearbox to get the best from the car. For the enthusiast, it is a sheer delight. It is the sort of car that prompts an American journalist to write, "We have raised a generation of Americans who have been cheated out of one of life's important pleasures, the joy of driving a light, fast, safe, and supple automobile." The engines of the production cars produce only about 40 horsepower, but the aerodynamics are so good that they cruise at over 80 miles an hour. Sales soar, and the best customers are American. America leads the world with sporting aircraft, but it is left to an enthusiastic amateur to build a limited number of competitive sports cars. The 1952 Cunningham, with its Chrysler V8 engine, is the most successful in carrying the American challenge to Europe. American dollars are the aim of every European manufacturer, and the 1952 British Motor Show still has all the emphasis on exports. Even starlets find it hard to buy a car in Britain.
With film star abandon, Veronica Hurst, Diane Hart and Valerie Carton were out to get a car. The handsome new Armstrong Siddeley Sapphire. Could they have one next week? Next year? Well, next leap year. The new Wolseley. Now we're very interested. Diane Hart is willing to chip in a third. Cash down? Sorry, ladies, but we can't deliver for a day or two, or a week or two, or even a month or two.
The Mark 7 Jaguar is available only to foreign buyers. This is the long-awaited Jaguar Saloon with the race-winning XK120 engine. The slogan is, race, space, pace. The elegant Jaguar combines American glamour with British restraint. The Mark 7 is in every way a winner. One American manufacturer, Studebaker, fights back with lower and less flamboyant cars. But their success will be short-lived. The last few American independents are rapidly losing ground to the larger manufacturing groups. In Britain, bus services become less frequent and passengers fewer, as at long last, cars become freely available on the home market. Ford's European expansion is centered on Britain, and there's a new range of cars. Although the prefects still have side valve engines, they have modern bodies and suspension, and are backed up by a more advanced range of larger cars. Both the Consuls and the Zephyrs have new overhead valve engines. By 1954, production in Britain has topped 750,000 cars a year. You have never had it so good, say the politicians, as the motor car becomes the cherished possession of 3 million British owners. The French industry has suffered more direct damage in the war and is slower to get going. Peugeot established a healthy export trade with the 203. In 1955, when the 403 arrives, Peugeot gets production up to 800 cars a day. French production will increase threefold during the 50s. A few Italian cars find their way to Britain as Fiat quadruple production. The new baby Fiat is a winner. Although there is a trace of scaled-down American glamour in its grin, it is lighter than its competitors, as fast as most of them, and a lot more economical. The engine is tiny, but overhead valves put up the power and speed. The special sound of the Ferrari comes from the V12 engine, an engine specifically designed to win races for the New Italy. This is a car for those who want the ultimate in performance. In Holland, there is a car for those who want the ultimate in easy driving with economy. The DAF has just 2 pedals and no gearbox or clutch. Variable pulleys give a smooth automatic drive with little waste of power. The Daffodil is one of the most original cars of its time. But once again, the most strikingly original of all comes from Citroën. The DS of the 50s is as dramatically different as the earlier front-wheel drive Citroëns of the 30s. It has a host of new ideas with all major controls power assisted and hydro-pneumatic suspension. By 1954, 500,000 baby Renaults have been built. In 1956, the Dauphine takes over. And Renault again becomes the biggest manufacturer in France. In the late 50s, French annual production grows to over 1 million as the car becomes more and more of an everyday necessity. German production is expanding fastest of all, and the millionth Volkswagen is produced in August 1955. Soon, this company alone will be producing over 1 million cars each year. The Volkswagen is proving itself through rough and smooth, and is being bought by rich and poor alike. Henry Ford believed the Model T would go on forever. Many now believe the Beetle will do the same. Opel also plays an important part in the increasing prosperity of the German motor industry. Since 1902, Opel have sold a wide range of popular models. And in 1956, the company produces its 2 millionth car. As Germany becomes more affluent, Mercedes produce faster and more luxurious cars. The 300S ranks among the best cars in the world and is 4 times as powerful as the early post-war Mercedes. But it's in comfort that some of the greatest advances are being made. The 220S of 1958 has an even more luxurious body. America is showing an increasing interest in sports cars, and Detroit challenges the European invasion. The Ford Thunderbird combines performance with comfort, while still retaining some of the styling that Americans have come to expect. At last, American designers are getting away from their earlier extravagances. By the late 50s, the German motor industry is the largest in the world outside America, with France and Britain close behind. The 300 SL Mercedes is sold with a top speed of 166 miles an hour. This is the engine that brings world fame to Fangio and Stirling Moss. the last of the great cars of the time is one of the smallest. The Mini, with its front-wheel drive and transverse engine, is the most compact car yet seen. This small family car has road holding that will win races and rallies all over the world. It will be sold in millions as the entire motor industry continues to expand and people everywhere demand cars, cars, and more cars.